Hello people. Today we will be seeing about reading and writing data in R. Previously we saw about creating objects and all the manipulations that are possible in R programming. Now we'll get into the class of reading and writing data. So what is the process of reading data? Let's take an example of if you have an earlier experience with C programming or C++, you would have noted in the commands C in, C out. C out is used for printing and C in is taking characters. And in same way in C programming also using print, scan, those kind of things, variables that are used to just read the variables. Here, reading data points to not just reading data from getting input from the user, also it points to taking data from files which contain the data. Let's say about there are a few principal functions regarding reading data into R. Read table, read.table, which will help you reading table data into the R dataset. Read.csv. CSV is an extension which is a format similar to Excel. These can be used, to read tabular data. Next is your read lines, which will be used for extracting lines from a text file, which may be any character set or a number set, or it can be anything else. And source. This is for reading in R code files. And dgate for reading in R code files. This is inverse of dput. I'll tell you later what is that. And load for reading in saved workspaces, and unserialized for reading single R objects in binary form. Let's say you have a object in R. This unserialized will help you to read those objects in binary form. Writing data. There are same analogous functions with respect to reading data for writing data as well in R programming. Write the table, writing inside a CSV file or a table created. Write lines, writing lines in a text file. Dump, deput, save, and serialize is opposite to unserialized that we saw in reading data. Moving on, how to use read.table to extract data from a tabular structure. It is one of the most commonly used functions. As you have already known, R programming is used for gaining statistical conclusions from tabular data, which is one of the main uses of R programming. Now, which is why reading data from table is one of the most commonly used functions. So here, read.table has a lot of arguments. As you would have aware, in programming language, an argument is something which you can pass into a function, and using that, the function will extract the separate the things that are needed. For example, here the file read.table has a parameter called argument called file, which is the name of the file or the connection from which the data needs to be extracted, and header, which indicates if the file has a header line, which is similar to all your HTML and XML pages. Sep, which is a string indicating how the columns are separated. And call classes, it's a character vector which indicates the class of each column in the dataset. Which column does it belong to? Which class does it belong to? Each of the column, it may be a numeric class, or it can be a character class. This call classes is a character vector which indicates which column, which class the column belongs to. And n rows, which is the number of rows in the dataset. Comment.char, which is a character string. Again, this indicates whether it is a common character. Like I said, hash key can be used to write comments in any table. So if say there are like 7 rows in a table and you have a comment which tells you what are the functions of each of those columns in the table, these comments will be marked by hash, and this comment that character char will tell you which is the comment character. And skip, when you are reading data into the R dataset, you can use the skip argument to skip the number of lines from the beginning to insert into the data. Strings as factors. This is why there is a small discussion that happens whenever you have character variables in your table, and whether they should be coded as factors. It depends on what our necessity is. Character variables can be kept as character variables and extracted into our dataset, or you can go and code them as factors. As I said earlier, factors are used for descriptive character sets. For example, male, female, those kind of character sets are used as factors.